Oh, hey, look at that battery on this thing's low. Alright, I'm gonna try and bust out 2 decks. I drafted the other week, didn't make the video because I got distracted by stuff. Life happens, you know. And then I went drafting this week as well. So I'm gonna have 4 decks for you in this video. Yay. I also recently picked up the Venture vs. Koth like this past week, so I'll make a separate video where I review that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to knock out 2 draft decks, and then I'm going to make a pot of coffee and grab something to eat and charge the battery on this thing. If it doesn't give out while I'm recording. Yeah. So, let's get started without further ado. These are decks from a couple weeks back. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. EPA. Now what I got here is I've got an Evolving Wild and a Traveler's Amulet and a Dawn Treader Veil. So I've got mono fixing pretty well covered. If I recall correctly, I ran 16 lands in this deck instead of 17, which honestly I avoid doing things like that, but I thought I did okay. You know, land wasn't generally an issue with this deck, so I think I didn't do bad with that decision. I've also got a Scorned Villager here for mana acceleration. He's a colorless and a green for a 1/1, taps for green mana. Then of course he's got the standard green-red werewolf mechanic. When he flips, he's a 2/2 with vigilance that taps for double green. This guy's really good, actually. He's really good. I've seen people really underestimate how good this card can be. I mean, you've got a 2/2 vigilance, and it's just like, if you have an opening where you can swing with him, if you don't think your opponent's going to block him, just go for it. Go for it, you know? And heavens forbid, if you need that extra 2 mana for something on your next main phase, you've got it. If you don't, hey, okay, you don't. That, and if you need that double green for some instance during combat, hey, you're swinging with him. He's got vigilance. He doesn't tap to attack. If you need that double green mana for something during combat, you've got it. I've got a Kessig Recluse. That's actually a pretty solid guy. I don't usually draft him very highly, but you know what? It's 2 and double green for a 2/3 reach death touch. I mean, yeah, it's 1 less point of toughness than a giant spider, but you're getting death touch in the bargain. And it's for the same converted mana cost, a little bit different on the specific mana cost. Giant spider's 3 and a green, this is 2 and double green. Whatever, right? You do what you can. I've got a Hunger of the Howlpack, +1/+1 counter on target creature, or on Morbid it's 3 counters. It's nice. A Wild Hunger, target creature gets +3/+1 and trample till end of turn for 2 and a green, flashes back for 3 and a red. I was packing a couple of mountains in this deck, both full of flashback on that, and because I was splashing in a Brimstone Volley. He's nice. A Briarpack Alpha, he's also nice. He's kind of a pump spell in and of himself. He's a 3 and a green for a 3/3 creature with flash. When he hits the board, target creature gets +2/+2 till end of turn. He's really nice. He's really nice. A Vorapede. This is nice. It's 2 and triple green for a 5/4 vigilance trample with Undying. I remember when the set was in spoilers, people were talking about using that thing with Birthing Pod. And yeah, I mean, you can sack that guy to a Birthing Pod to hunt up a Worm Coil engine, and then you get this dude back with a +1/+1 counter. That's pretty saucy. That's pretty saucy. I also had a Markov Patrician, 3/1 lifelinking vampire, and a Screeching Bat, 2/2 flyer that, you know, during your upkeep you can pay 2 and double black to transform it. And of course, transforming it turns it into a 5/5 ground pounding vampire that you can also during your upkeep pay 2 and double black, transform it back to the 2/2 flyer, yippee yay. Well, bat or vampire depending on which side it's on. 2 Chosen of Markov. The Chosen of Markov are kind of nifty. They're decent cards. I've got 3 ways in the deck to transform them. I've got her, that transformed, or this here Moon Mist. The Moon Mist, of course, will also work on the Scorned Villager as well, provided it hasn't transformed. So yeah, I mean, I was actually running the Moon Mist as a, you know, a funky little fog/utility card, so I figured I could get away with it. It's not bad. Skursdag Flayer, it's a 1/1. You've seen him before. 3 and a black, tap, sack human, destroy target creature. He can sack himself, he can sack untransformed Chosens. He can sack the Scorned Villager if it hasn't transformed, so he's not bad. He's not bad. Diagraph Ghoul is just a solid low casting cost card. Black Cat, always cute. Late picks generally in packs, but it's a cute card. Manor Skeleton, it's a reasonably solid guy. You know, he's a 1/1 haste with regen for colors in the black, regens for colors in the black, blah 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 blah. Tragic Slip, a nice little removal card. Either you remove low toughness utility creatures with it, or you wait until something dies and then you can just nuke something huge. Death's Grasp, another good removal card. High casting cost, but in draft and sealed deck, you know, limited environments, overcosted removal is still removal. And as I've said before, removal covers all manners of sins. Victim of Night, nuke non-vampire werewolf zombie. It's okay. It's still a removal card. Also over here, I had a Wolf Hunter's Quiver, which isn't bad, and a Butcher's Cleaver, which once it gets, you know, equipped creature gets +3/+0, and if it's human, lifelink. Once again, non-transformed, it's a human. Non-transformed, it's a human. Non-transformed, it's a human. Human. So yeah, that could work out pretty well. What you're not seeing here that I did have in the deck, I had a Predator Ooze in the deck as well. The 1/1 indestructible that gets a +1/+1 counter. I believe it's like whenever something dies or whenever it attacks or some craziness in there. I can't exactly remember what it does. It only came up once or twice, didn't end up being all that impressive because people found ways to remove it or to circumvent it, you know, like flying. Yeah, a ground pounding ooze doesn't do much to stop flyers. The deck did okay, but not really, really great. And, you know, that's the long and short of it. I got a foil and werewolf out of the prize pool. A sudden disappearance. I'd actually drafted a foil sudden disappearance out. Crew and Outlaw. Did I have anything else in here that was funk? Nothing in particular. I had a second Wild Hunger in the sideboard and a few other things that I could have played, but I didn't, and I only splashed for one red card, so there's that. So I'm going to put this camera down real quick and get the second deck from the other week put up, and hopefully the battery won't die on me while I'm doing this. Here's my buddy the sideboard. Bum, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. There's that, and that. There's those, and that. There's that, and that. That, and this guy, and that, double check this. Okay. Okay, cool. Camera's still going. That's nice. So, here's what we're looking at. This is weird because first pick was a Diagraph Copton. Colorless blue, black, 2/2, death touch. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. When another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. And then the person to my right passed me a Diagraph Copton. I don't know what I think he took the rare out of the pack. I don't remember what it was, but he passed me that, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going blue-black zombies, right? Right? So I had 2 Diagraph Coptons, a Ghoul Razor, an Undead Alchemist, Reap the Seagroth, Black Cat, a second Reap the Seagroth, 2 Headless Scabs, a Screeching Scab. So I was doing pretty good in the zombie department. I had a Deranged Assistant in there, you know, a little bit of mod acceleration, not much. Chant of the Skifang, it's a nice little control card, not really removal, but a lot of times it might as well be. Falconwrath Torturer, he's cute. A Delver of Secrets, he's always nice. An Invisible Stalker, again, nice. Moon Heron and a Battleground Geist. I mean, the Battleground Geist would have been playable even if I didn't have any other spirits. He's still a 3/3 flyer, you know? Mask of Avacyn, that came in very handy. Yeah, you can't remove my dudes. Thank you. I had an Evolving Wilds in there for, you know, a lovely little mana fixer. What you're not seeing here is I also had a Ludwig's test subject in here, the 0/3 Defender. You pay like a colorless and a blue to put counters on it, and when it's got 5 counters, you transform it. It turns into a 13/13 trample. And I also had a Blood Gift Demon in here. The Undead Alchemist, like, once that was my keeper. I think I might have gotten the Blood Gift back. Not 100% sure. Not 100. I don't see it in here. Though, that particular evening, the shopkeep was nice enough to kick some stuff into the prize pool that he had hanging out, so I got a Frost Titan out of the prize pool. This deck, and I also had 3 Fires of Undeath in there. I'm not sure why those were going around the way they were, but I snapped them up. There's no, those are good. I came in 2nd place with this deck. I did really well with it. The guy who came in first was playing like mostly white and token generating cards. Some of the weird things that were running around also during the draft, like I picked up a Drogskull Captain and a Stromkirk Captain during this foolishness as well, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? Why are you passing these things? They're good. So yeah. But hey, what are you gonna do? I did really well. Like I said, I came in 2nd place with this deck. It would have been interesting if I'd played the guy who came in first, because I mean, I looked over his deck afterwards, and I'm like, you know, it looked really, really strong, and our decks probably would have had it. I don't know. Either he would have raffle stomped me, or it just would have been a horrific slugfest. One of the two. There was no way this deck was going to raffle stomp him. It just wasn't going to happen. But hey, you know, there's that. So I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to start charging the battery on the camera, get myself something to eat, brew up a pot of coffee, you know, while battery's charging, and then I'll do the draft decks from this past weekend, and then I'll get it all spliced together, throw it up, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying this now in the middle of what's going to end up being in the middle of the video, because I'm a goofball. Alright. There's going to be a transition here. Don't panic. And we're back. Battery's nice and charged. I've had something to eat. I sat down, watched an episode of Nova online. I've mentioned before, I'm crashing at my mom's place. She's got like 800-900 channels. There's nothing to watch on TV. It's all... The only thing that doesn't look like a total waste of my time is like with something on National Geographic Channel that my mom doesn't get. Yeah. Go fig. So, here is what I'm looking at. Alright, this was first draft, this past Friday night. Got a Drogskull Captain, all well and good. 2 Evolving Wilds and a Traveler's Amulet, Demon Male Hogwark, a Trepanation Blade, Stormbound Geist, a Shriek Geist, Invisible Stalker, a Delver of Secrets. What you're not seeing here is I also had a foil Delver of Secrets, which was my keeper, and I sold that. I'll get to that in a moment. Divination, Thraben Heretic, Thraben Heretic, however you want to pronounce it. I prefer Thraben because Thraben sounds slightly perverse. And I want my perverse to be on purpose, damn it. But anyways, yeah, the Thraben Heretic is it's a great card for pardon me. Basically just scrolling over anyone with the Undying mechanic. Yay. 2 Hollowhenge Spirits, a Chapel Geist, a Nibelus of the Mist, which we're getting into the habit of calling Nibbles. All of the Nibelus we're referring to now as Nibbles. Anyways, some creature control cards, a Chant of the Skifang, a Bond of Faith, a Burden of Guilt. Bond of Faith, as often as not, I'd end up putting on like an Invisible Stalker. Go fig. 2 Saving Grasps, a Faith's Shield, a Soul Caesar. That thing's nice. It's a 1/3 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may transform it. If you do, attach it to a creature that player controls, transforms into a creature enchantment that controls your opponent's creature. Yay! Quickly double check here. Also, what you're not seeing here that was in the deck, I had the Drog Skull Reaver, the 7 mana, 5 a white and a blue for the 3/6 flying double strike life link. Whenever you gain life, draw a card. Yeah, that thing's nice. Unfortunately, it only came up like once. One time I ended up eking out a victory by throwing a demon mail hauberk on an invisible stalker. That was awesome. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to hauberk up an invisible stalker. So, BAM! That stalker also ended up doing that game, ended up doing a lot of damage with a Trepanation Blade as well. Kid sides, fun stuff. You know, not much to say. The deck did alright. I can't really complain. I could, but, you know, it wouldn't do me any good. But, yeah. But, oh yeah, the foil Delver. Some fellow was saying it's going for like $8 at Star City, and I offered afterwards to sell it to him for $6, and he counter offered with $2. Now the guy's a bit of a dealer, so I can understand him offering me less than you know, book value and such for it. But it's like, dude, you're telling me it's going for $8, and now you're only offering me $2 for it, really? And he's like, oh, it's going for $8 on Star City. But granted, Star City prices do tend to be a little bit on the high side, to say the least. But it's like, look, here's a crazy idea. How's about you not insult me when you offer me a price and stuff? Is that asking too much? But I offered it to my my buddy Jan, and I told him, it's like, hey, seeing about I'm trying to unload this. It's going for like $8 on Star City. I offered it to this other guy for $6. He offered me $2 for it, and what are you willing to give me for it? And he busts out a 5, hands that to me, and I'm like, that's a reasonable counter offer, I gotta say, you know. But so yeah, there's that. So what else? What if? Okay. So this was second draft that night. I ended up coming in like 4th out of like 11 or 12 guys. And this was a bizarre draft because pack 1, I opened a Gravecrawler. That guy's nice. Black, a single black mana for a 2/1 zombie, can't block. If it's in your graveyard and you control a zombie, you may cast it from your graveyard. That's nice. Now what's funny about that, though, is the guy sitting directly opposite where I was at the end of the table, the guy passing to me, the guy who was passing to me opened one. Yeah. So we were at, I believe we had like 11 or 12 guys who were like one table of 6 and a second table with the remainder, which was 5 or 6 guys. Someone at the other table cracked one as well. There were 3 Gravecrawlers in that draft. That was kind of wacky. But hey, strange things happen, whoop-de-doo, blah blah blah. So I had the Gravecrawler, Sightless Ghoul, a Reap the Seagroth, Screeching Scab, an Armored Scab, and yeah, that was basically it for zombies. Here's where things get pretty nice though. 3 Dead Weights, a Tragic Slip, 2 Death's Caress. Nice, right? 2 Stitcher's Apprentice. These guys went nice with the Gravecrawler. Just really nice. It's like, yeah, sack the, yeah, I'll make a 2/2 Homunculus token, I'll sack the Gravecrawler, I'll bring the Gravecrawler back. That was, when I could get it off, that was really, really nice. What else I got hanging on here? I got a Village Cannibals. It's alright. Mark of Patrician, 2 Falconwrath Torturers, a Chosen of Markov, Fiend of the Shadows that I kicked into the prize pool, got it back afterwards, 2 Nephilia Sea Kites. What you're not seeing here, and was in the deck, was I had an increasing ambition and a Rune Chanter's Pike in here. The Pike at times was able to do really nice stuff. Giving a creature first strike in and of itself is pretty spiffy, and you know, possible power boost, also nice. I want to say first round I went up against Doug. If I recall correctly, I won that game, but it was just a slugfest. Second round, I'm trying to remember who I went up against. I'm freaking drawing a blank. Was it Rich? I can't remember, but I think I ended up drawing in that game. Then third round I ended up winning. What happens to the second round? The timeout was when I went up against the guy with the token generators. At some point during the night, I played against the guy who the week before had the token generating deck in white, and he more or less tried to do it again. Didn't get all the cards he really needed for it, but he was an aggravating opponent because he just had so much stall in the deck. Combine that with, of course, the fact that he also had that card that gives him, I believe it's like 2 life for each card in his graveyard, and then you shuffle your graveyard into your deck. Yeah, that was annoying because in addition to having that, he had the Chalice out. You know, the one where you tap for 1 life, and if you have 10 or life or more above your starting life, transform it. And when you transform it, the other side is tapped, target opponent loses 5 life. Yeah, that was rough. That was really rough. And he had a lot of stall hanging around, you know, just the ability to make more creature tokens, trump blockers, blah 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 blah. After he gained all that life and transformed the Chalice, he was at 33 life. When the game ended and I lost that hand, he was at 15. I had taken a good-sized chunk out of him. I swear, I must have done like 40 or 50 damage to him over the course of that game. It was just horrible. He was just sitting there the whole time, you know, just fending me off, and I'm sitting there just wailing away on him. And I just couldn't stop. I just couldn't get through. Could not get through for game-winning damage. I did play Rich that week. I did play Rich. That weekend. I can't even remember very well how I did against Rich. Rich is a really good player. Rich tends to play slow sometimes, but that's part of what makes him a good player. He takes his time, he analyzes the board position, and he thinks about what you might have in your deck, and you know what kind of tricks you might be able to pull on him. So whenever I fight against him, it's just like, whenever I play a game against him, it's like, it's rough. It's really rough. At one point, he played that, I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, the card that gives you 5 1/1 token dudes, and if you flash it back, it gives you 10 instead. Increasing Devotion, I think it was. So he has that one, and he busts it out on me, blah, 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 blah. He's also got the 1/4 guy on the board that, on Fateful Hour, gives all of your dudes +1/+4. Now, the problem with that is I had him at 7, and then he's got all these token guys on the board, and he's got that thing on the board, and I could have swung in and hit him, got some damage done to him, but I didn't do it. I held back because I'm sitting there, and I'm basically milling him with like a dude with the Rune Chant. Was I milling? No, he was milling himself with the red enchantment, where you look at you reveal your top 3 cards, and you deal damage to a target creature or player equal to the highest mana cost revealed. And he used that a bunch of times to try and slow me down, and, you know, nuke some of my creatures and such. And he had burned through a lot of cards in his deck doing that. But what ended up happening, though, is that he got really low in the cards department. But the thing is I decided to try and run him out of cards because I knew if I swung in and I hit him, he was making a pit stop somewhere between 7 and 0. It was going to take me at least 2 swings to hit him. And there was no way I had to hit him for only 1 point of damage. So if I hit him for anywhere from 2 to 6 points of damage, bam, he hits Fateful Hour territory, all those 1/1 token dudes he's got turn into 2/5s. I'm not getting through a second time. Because at that point, he can just turn them all sideways and just open me. Just open me. You know? But, oh well. So this deck, you know, it had some really nice, you know, some nice solid removal, you know, some nice solid combo, recurring creatures and such. You know, I had the Markov Patrician that was there for some funk. You know, with the Runechanter's Pike giving the Markov Patrician first strike is really, really nice. Potential big flyer, always nice. Possible regeneration if I sack the Village Cannibals to it, or the Chosen of Markov before it transforms. Some nice high-speed flyers, you know, just flash them out, whatever, you know. So the thing is I had a solid deck. It was really a solid deck. The problem with the deck, though, was that I had no flash, I had no bombs, and it was a deck that really could have used a bomb. Short and simple. This deck would have been like 10 times better if I had a true bomb card in it, but I didn't. So I had to rely with just being, you know, Old Faithful, and it didn't work out for me as well as it could have. I ended up coming in like 4th place, I think, which was alright. 4th is, you know, out of like, you know, 11 or 12 guys, 4th is reasonably respectable. But it doesn't get you anything fantastic out of the prize pool either. So there's that. Also, some special note, though, is I seriously thought about splashing either white or red into this deck. I mean, I was given a Shimmering Grotto, last pick, last pack, which that alone struck me as really weird. Because Shimmering Grotto is a nice mana fixer, and that rarely goes as a last pick, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, there was a Bonds of Faith, a Burden of Guilt in white, both of which are solid control cards. And in red, you know, Fires of Undeath and a Faithless Looting. I mean, that's nice. Those are, I mean, okay, controls, quasi-removal cards, reusable removal card, or direct damage, heaven forbid it, and some kind of, you know, card draw accelerant. That's nice stuff right there. And I thought about splashing them, I really did, but I figured to go for what I thought was going to be the more reliable strategy, and, you know, quite bluntly put, it just didn't work out for me. Or at least not as well as I'd hoped it would. These things happen. That is life sometimes. Probably not getting to it today, but sometime in the next couple of days, I'm going to do a review on Venser versus Koth. So, there's that to look forward to. New content coming up. And sounds like I just got an email because my phone just made a fun, happy tone. So, I'm going to wrap this up, check out my message, get the 2 pieces of video spliced together, and get this all uploaded. The world will be happy and good. If the world is not happy and good, we can beat the crap out of it until it says it is. As a wise man once said, if brute force isn't getting the job done, then you obviously aren't using it enough. Alright, be good, fellas. Stay safe, etc., etc.